Body segment means part of your bodies, your hands, your legs, your shoulder, your trunk, all body parts. So when we measure their mass, we measure their volume, we measure their moment of inertia. So all these physical parameters, when we measure them segment wise, we call them as body segment parameters. So this lecture is all about this body segment parameters. Okay, so starting with this section, now few things you should keep in mind always. So these things you always keep in mind while studying these body segment parameters. These are that first thing is every athlete or every human being on this earth is different biomechanically. What this means that nobody is similar in their biomechanics. Somebody has longer hands, somebody has shorter hands, some has more strength in legs, some has less strength in legs, size is different, weight is mass is different. So हर एक की biomechanics is individual. So this section body segments, this is more of research part. These methods are mainly used for sports science research and biomechanics. And research, what is the main aim of research? As you all know that I have always told you that biomechanics has two main aims in each and every aspect. कोई भी आप स्टडी कर रहे हैं बायोमेकेनिक्स में, उनका अल्टीमेटली देयर आर टू मेन एम्स. यू ऑल नो दैट इज फर्स्ट वन इज टू एनहांस योर परफॉर्मेंस एंड सेकंड वन इज टू प्रिवेंट यू फ्रॉम इंजरी. अब टिल नाउ जितने भी हमने पैरामीटर्स, काइनेटिक्स स्टडी की है, हमने काइनेमेटिक्स स्टडी करी है, आपको बताया पैरामीटर्स, वी हैव told you, I have told you about kinematics, I have told you about kinetics. All those parameters are very relevant to the sports and they are very instant. But now this one, body segment parameters, these are basically used for research. They are not instant. We have to repeat our analysis again and again and again, and then finally, because research is not a 2 days work or 3 days work. Research takes time. It involves months, it involves years to get something new, to get something new in technology, to get something new in a workout for a particular athlete. And more of these parameters or this research is focused towards elite athletes, because research जो है we can't, मतलब एक तो there are so many sports persons, so research is focused on the Olympians, मतलब elite athletes, so that we can make them more good, make them more we can train them more appropriately, and we can train them more, we can make them more efficient energy wise by improving their techniques by doing research. So these parameters are used for these kind of studies. Okay, so athlete, every person is different. So I think this point is clear. Each has or her abilities, because their body segments are different, their weights are different, their sizes are different. Okay, now there are multiple methods. There are 4 to 5, I think 6 methods are there that exist right now for these body segment measurement. We'll discuss all of them which are relevant, and the older ones have been discarded now, but you should know how we started. So earlier methods we'll also discuss, latest one we'll also discuss, and each method has some merits, each method has some demerits. So that's why evolve होते आ रहे हैं, and still we are evolving, still we are making it better and better. These methods for measuring of body segment parameters, and body segments are your body parts basically. So we'll discuss all of them. Now these parameters, last point is very crucial, these parameters are mainly utilized in biomechanical research that I have told you, right, and for designing new workouts for better performance and less injury. So this line summarizes all points which I have told you right now, that these parameters are utilized for biomechanical research. This is one point, but in the medical science also these parameters help. So that is not your area, that's why I'm not discussing. But in the medical biomechanics, because biomechanics is also utilized for medical purposes, so in that case also we utilize this research, okay, for designing prosthetics, designing implants. So that is another phase of this science or this section of biomechanics, okay. But we will be dealing with non sports only. So these parameters are mainly utilized in biomechanical research and for designing new workout, new techniques for better performance and less injury. Now coming to next slide, what are body segment parameters? Let it change on your screens also. Well, yeah. So what are body segment parameters? Body segments, as you all know now, that these are hands, elbows, body parts, your body parts, okay. So these parameters describe body segment mass, body segment length, body segment volume, body segment moment of inertia. So key physical parameters which are required for musculoskeletal modeling. Musculoskeletal modeling क्या है? That is the key tool for doing this kind of research. It is basically modeling with the help of a computer and the software. And for that we need some input parameters of your body segments. So these input parameters of your body segments are these: mass of your body segment, length of your body segment, volume of your body segment. So by these values we can make a model of a particular athlete. Now why they are very important? Because these are individual parameters. These are different for different athletes. These are individual values. If one athlete has some set of parameters, the second athlete has different. So this molecular modeling is specifically for individuals. For one particular athlete, we'll do molecular modeling, and then we try different things to improve his technique only. So that's why it is very specific in sports. Okay. So body segments are parameters are basically mass, body, volume, and musculoskeletal modeling is the one key tool which require these parameters. On the right side, I have given you a table. There you can see the masses basically. So how we use them? For example, they have made one table by analysis of different individuals, and they have generalized it basically. For example, head, neck. This is in the percentage. Your head and neck makes 8.96% of your whole mass. Trunk makes 46.84% of your whole mass. Upper arm makes 3.25%. Forearm makes 1.87%. So these are for males and females. You see, both are different. Little bit different is there because a woman mechanics or a man mechanic is slightly different from one another, and in individual also they are different. Now, if I tell you one point, please keep in mind. In the earlier studies, it was not individual approach. They used to take parameters of 4 or 5 or 6 people and then make some generalized assumptions. क्या करते थे वो? पहले 4-5 का हमने पैरामीटर्स रिकॉर्ड कर लिए, एंड देन जैसे आपके सामने टेबल है, ऑन द राइट साइड यू कैन सी द टेबल, तो वो एक जनरलाइज्ड बना लेते हैं टेबल. जैसे हेड हमारा 8.96% है, सो दे अप्लाई टू ऑल ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल्स विच दे आर एनालाइजिंग. ये पुरानी बात बता रहा हूँ, इन द हिस्ट्री पहले ऐसे होता था, बट नाउ द अप्रोच इज वेरी इंडिविजुअल, वेरी स्पेसिफिक. अर्लियर इट वॉज जनरलाइज्ड. तो वो एक टेबल बना लेते थे, द टेबल विच यू आर सीइंग राइट नाउ. It is the old one. Right now we don't use such approach. At present, in the latest scenario, we do individual. Okay. Earlier it was like generalized कि head 8.96% होता है body के mass wise. Trunk 46.84 kg का होता है mass wise, percentage wise. मतलब अगर 46.84% of your body is your trunk. तो ये percentages में एक generalized सा table बना लिया जाता था, so that they can input the values for molecular modeling. So at present this approach is not there. In today's world it is individual approach, specific. हर एक individual का अलग से measurement होता है, and then we do the molecular modeling for that particular person by inputting his values, because each individual has his or her individual values for body segments. Okay, I think now it is clear. Coming to next slide. So it will soon come to your, yeah. So musculoskeletal modeling, what is it? So a musculoskeletal model of an athlete is used to estimate muscle and joint reaction forces, the forces which exerted by ground, जो force plates में हम measure करते हैं. So it is talking about that. So in musculoskeletal model we can calculate at each joint and around each muscle these reaction forces. So a computation model that encompasses a skeleton consisting in rigid body segments connected by joints. On the right side you can see one example of an athlete. This is molecular model of an athlete. So by forming this model we can do simulations. Simulation क्या होता है? Suppose we have with the help of calculation, by seeing the trend or by applying biomechanics for a particular individual, we have on the paper we have designed some workout. So theoretically that workout is okay on the papers we have calculated, for example, right? But now we want to see that what will be the effect of those the planned workout, the new workout on that athlete. So instead of trying that on athlete, we first try with these simulations with computer modeling. We will make this model to do that workouts with the help of computer. So exactly we'll get to know what will be the effect on the technique of which we are studying. So this will help you to get some knowledge about how your technique will get improved if you do this new workout. So it will give you almost exact values, that how much performance will be increased, and it has been seen it relates well to real time. There have been examples where they have simulated some workouts, then they have performed on the players also, फिर after that they have matched the results, तो काफ़ी percentage उनकी match करती है. So in simple terms, जो भी workout they plan, the new technique which they plan, they first try it on computer model, and computer model let you know कि कहाँ पर कोई प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं आ रहा, किसी और मसल पे कोई इल इफेक्ट तो नहीं हो रहा, किसी दूसरे, if suppose you are focusing on glute muscle and may the new workout may hamper some other joint movement. तो ये सब कुछ आपको in advance you will get to know on computer screen, and on कि कोई mistake तो नहीं है workout में, कोई negative effect तो नहीं है. Third, it will also let you know कितना improvement हो सकता है with this workout. So all planning of your new workout for an elite athlete, specifically for particular one जिसके लिए study बन रही है, जिसके लिए molecular modeling हो रहा है, we get to know how the new workout or new technique will work. So this is research. So in this way molecular modeling is very crucial for in biomechanics, for developing new technique, for increasing performance, and for prevention of injuries. So this is it. I think it is clear what is musculoskeletal modeling, and for this modeling you need body segment measurements, and they have to be very accurate. So that's why we have discarded old approaches, now we are doing the new ones. So starting from the old to new, I'll discuss all of them with you. Okay, so now in the next slide I'll summarize what are the main applications of this body segment parameters measurement. Okay, now coming to the next slide. So yeah, so in sports it is not always possible to perform countless repetitions of a certain skill. Now what is this point? This is a very important point which favors us to use molecular modeling. Now suppose आपने कोई डिज़ाइन किया exercise, new workout डिज़ाइन किया है, and you want to see the results, you want to do research. So you cannot ask an elite athlete to perform it for you many times. Okay, got the point? But once we get his body segment parameters, we can feed them in the computer and we can do it 1,000 times, 1 crore times. ओके, सो इससे हमारे को फायदा होता है। रिसर्च में ऐसा नहीं है यू हैव गॉट रिजल्ट वंस एंड यू से इट या इट वर्क्स एंड यू इम्प्लीमेंट इट इज नॉट लाइक दैट। रिसर्च रिक्वायर्स again and again repetitions. Research requires to proper analysis. Research requires statistics. So for all these you have to repeat experiments, you know. तो वो एक्सपेरिमेंट्स वी कैन नॉट रिपीट ऑन एन एलाइट एथलीट और एनी एथलीट। कोई भी नहीं मानेगा कि मैं बार बार मैं वाई आई शुड गो अगेन एंड अगेन, वाई शुड आई गेट फैटीग बिकॉज ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर रिसर्च, जिसका कोई फायदा होना भी है नहीं, है ना। इट्स वेरी प्रैक्टिकल थिंग, नो बडी विल कम। सो बट ऑन द लॉन्ग रन इट इज़ वेरी यूजफुल थिंग्स। फॉर दैट वी यूज मॉलिक्यूलर मॉडलिंग। तो हम क्या करते हैं, वी जस्ट टेक द बॉडी पैरामीटर्स measurements of a particular athlete and then we use this musculoskeletal modeling to invent new techniques and to check them yes they are working or not. So we can repeat many times according to the experiment and according to the results we can do it. We cannot we will not disturb a light athlete or any athlete. We'll just get his parameters done and then we'll do our this modeling and we will get the results. After that जब सारे रिसर्च में हमें कंफर्म हो गया yes this technique is good, then we ask athlete to do that and this approach will definitely improve his performance. So this is the idea. So in such situation musculoskeletal model is the best options. Okay, so musculoskeletal modeling and simulating movement can explore the boundaries of human motion. Boundaries mean कि कितना extent तक we can enhance his performance, कितना उसका range of motion बढ़ा सकते हैं without causing injury. So this is very crucial. Okay, so all these things body segment parameters help in those, right? So it assists in quantifying the best practice in training which will increase your performance and help to prevent your injury. तो अल्टीमेट एम वही दो फिर से आ गए कि आपने परफॉर्मेंस बढ़ानी है एंड इंजरी को कम करना है. सो दैट आर द मेन टू एम्स. ओके, सो ये बात होगी हमारी स्पोर्ट्स रिसर्च की. सो इन एडिशन टू दैट इट हैज़ सम मोर एप्लीकेशंस body segment parameter measurements, so that I will let you know in brief in the next slide. So coming to applications of body segment parameters measurement in as a whole. Okay, so as a whole the first point is again that it will help to increase the athletic performance. Okay, a precise knowledge of body segments allow designing of better workout plans for increasing the performance of athlete and prevention of his or her injury. So this is a sports part. So in addition to that it also helps us to understand orthopedic and prosthetic problems, and this point is for both medical field also and for sports field also कि कोई ऑर्थोपेडिक या प्रोस्थेटिक प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं है. प्रोस्थेटिक जैसे प्रोसेस हम यूज करते हैं मेडिकल फील्ड में, सो इट इज़ मोर ऑफ मेडिकल थिंग. सो बट दीज आर एप्लीकेशन यू शुड नो. सो दिस बॉडी सेगमेंट पैरामीटर्स हेल्प्स अस टू डिजाइन braces, prosthetic devices. So it is again medical side. So if you know the exact measurement of your body segments by doing research and all that, we can plan better prosthetic devices. So it helps in the biomedical engineering for designing better ones. And even for that Paralympics you say where these players play, for them also we design these kind of advanced prosthetic devices so that they can perform well in their games. So in that way it also helps a lot. So can explore body segment density changes in normal and pathological cases. So again this is more of medical, and also it helps in the sports also if some injury is there. And body mass distribution is also very crucial कि symmetry है या नहीं आपके body segments में. Okay, so that will also help us biomechanics to plan your workout so that you can get rid of that asymmetry and get better performance and prevent injuries. So all in all it is a very helpful thing for both medical grounds also as well as on biomechanics in the sports field also. So it is a very crucial thing, but one thing keep in mind that this is more of research part because instant results won't come here, it will take time, but when they are finalized they will definitely going to help athlete also or patient in the medical field also, in the medical science also. Okay, so it is a very crucial technique, very important technique for sports biomechanics also and for medical biomechanics also. So hope applications are clear now. Now I'm coming to the methods which we use for measuring these body segment parameters. I will start from the old ones जो पहले होते थे. Now they have discarded. So why they have discarded, I'll tell you the reason. That I will again repeat. So before that, I'll first of all discuss the first method. So the first method is cadaver studies, or we call it cadaver method. Cadaver means dead bodies. So in earlier times, these body segment measurements started with these cadaver studies. So what they did, they took some dead bodies and then try to evaluate their masses. There's a mass of hand, mass of leg, mass of trunk individually. Each body segment they tried, and what they measured, basically they measured volume with very simple techniques like immersion. I'll discuss it later on. So in the third point, you keep this formula always in your mind when you're talking about body segment parameters, because density, mass and volume are related to each other. If these methods help you to get any of these three, जैसे आपको volume पता लग गया hand का, if you know the volume of hand, you can calculate density by just putting mass. Okay, and if you know mass, you can calculate other. So all these three are related. So if you get one, you can get to know other also. Okay, because density is assumed uniform in the human bodies, so density is no problem. So if you know the volume, you can definitely very easily calculate mass. How? By multiplying it with density. Density to volume is equal to mass. So keep this formula in mind. This will help you to get mass. Okay, so the method involves determination of the volume of each body segment. So this cadaver method is mainly focused in determining the volume of your body segments. So you can calculate mass very easily by above equation. Okay, so how they do it? So first, in cadaver studies, they usually the method was to use immersion protocol. So what was that? They basically dissect particular body part. For example, आपने shoulder का लेना, they cut that whole arm and then they put that arm into a volume of a water. And then what they observed is displacement. They will fill a tank with the water, measured amount of volume was there of water, and they dip body part in that. So how much that displacement happened by dipping, by immersing that body part, they noted it down. They measured it, they record that value, that displacement of water, kitna volume displace hua after immersing the body part, that they recorded. And by applying simple mathematics of subtraction कि वॉल्यूम पहले कितना था एंड वॉल्यूम उसके बाद कितना आया आफ्टर डालिंग आफ्टर ये इमर्सिंग दैट बॉडी पार्ट, so that difference will give you volume of your body part. So this was the approach, very simple. Just you get to know the volume, you know the earlier volume already because it is a measured amount. So when you put body part, some amount will displace, and what is the final volume and initial volume, that difference will give you the volume, and once you get the volume, you can get to know the mass. So in this way these approaches work. So what is the negative point of this approach? The negative point that you already told you, that it was not specific, because जैसे you have dead body of some, suppose have of a old patient, old person. Now you are generalizing it and now using it for young ones also. So जो old person है और जो new है, so there must be some different biomechanics, their body segments. So relation was not that efficient. It was, there were differences. So this was the key reason it has been discarded. They don't use this method now, but earlier it started like this. Okay, next slide will give you some again this mathematical idea how they used this method. So it will be more clear in the next slide how they measured volume of a body segment. So just a small demo by very good graphic you will now then this graphic you see there are two jars. So one jar we have water on the left side up to the point of 45 mLs, right? So that we know. Now when we put a body part, suppose in this case we are putting a cylinder, small cylindrical object. So as you put that cylindrical object inside this, you see on the right side volume raised to almost 65. Okay, now what they do, they will just subtract these difference, V final minus V initial, that means V water plus cylinder, that is final one, minus V water alone. तो दोनों का वॉल्यूम का डिफरेंस लेना है जस्ट वन, फर्स्ट वन जो फाइनल वाला क्या है, जब आपने सिलेंडर अंदर डाल दिया उसमें आपका वॉल्यूम अप हो गया, दिस इज द फाइनल वॉल्यूम. देन फर्स्ट वन इज योर इनिशियल वॉल्यूम. सो दोनों को जब आप सब्सट्रैक्ट कर देंगे, व्हेन यू माइनस देम यू विल गेट द वॉल्यूम फॉर दिस सिलेंडर. So this was the approach they used to calculate volumes of different body parts, and by these volume they get to know masses also. So in this way then they generalized it and made some tables out of that. Then they use that for other things, for other individuals also. Okay, so this was the Cadaver method. Now this technique of immersion was further improved to use them in living beings. So we can use immersion technique in the living beings also. So after this cadaver studies they switched to living beings. मतलब एक live athlete के you can measure the parameters. The idea was same, but just modification in the apparatus they did. So what are the apparatus for this? You can see in your front, on the right side, this is the apparatus, the photograph of the apparatus, and in this photograph you can see they are basically measuring the volume of his forearm basically. So how they did it? The arm is suspended on the lower tank. So first of all there are two tanks in this apparatus. एक टैंक ऊपर लगा हुआ है जिसमें से पानी आएगा. They know the what is the volume, exact volume. Before starting the experiment they knew कि कितना volume उसमें है. Okay, the V1 is already known. So from first cylinder which is on the upside, the volume the water will come and it will start and pouring in the second jar where the arm is. Okay, so in this method we have two water tanks. The arm is suspended into the lower tank basically and set in a fixed position for the duration of test. Now athlete will not move throughout the experiment till we get the volume of his forearm. Okay, now the tank is then filled with successive predetermined level. धीरे धीरे they start pouring water with increments of 2 or 3. It is fixed. Okay, same increment may they increase the water. At each level readings are taken of the height of the water in each tank. So जैसे ही they start this experiment, in the upper tank the volume will start decreasing and they keep on noting the values. On the other hand जो lower आपका jar है, in that case it will start increasing, the level will rise. So they will record both the heights. At each level readings are taken on of the height of the water in each tank. So the volume occupied water between any two levels is found by taking the difference between heights of water levels and by applying suitable area factors in both the jars. So idea is almost same, again difference will come. So for example last point पे focus करें. So to find the volume of a forearm the displacement volume is found for the wrist to elbows. तो wrist से start करेंगे क्योंकि forearm वहीं से start होता है आपका. From wrist to elbow they will look into it. तो वहाँ से they will get to know the value for the displaced water up to forearm. ठीक है. So to find the volume of the forearm, the displacement volume is found for the wrist to elbow levels in the lower tank and the between the corresponding levels in the upper tank. So they will get the two values. Now the difference between these two volumes will give you the volume of forearm. So in this way they were able to measure different body segments one by one. So advantage of this method was कि you don't need that dead bodies and you can use individual approach also. But at that time also individual approach was not there. What they did, they measured the body segments of some larger group and then again generalized it and made the table. So the latest one, the method, actually they started using individual approach. Now coming to the next slide. Second method. Now this method was more accurate as compared to immersion technique. Immersion technique is not so accurate. So then they shifted to reaction change method. So this is the method. So here what is the idea? Here they recorded forces, basically forces with the help of force plate. So what was the idea? So this method involved the determination of reaction forces of a board while the subject lies at rest on it. So what was the idea? There was a board, you can see, where this athlete is lying. From A to B is as the length of this whole board. So the board is supported by a fixed base from one point A and a very sensitive point B. So point B is sensitive to what? It is sensitive to reaction forces, and it is attached to a force plate so that you can read the reaction forces. So what they did, the reaction force due to the board only, first of all recorded, without athlete, they record what is the reaction force of board alone. And then they get some athlete on it and then again recorded that reaction force. And at the end, what they did, they just subtracted. So subtraction is always there in each and every method, I think. So this is the idea. Main principle is ki you should get to know what is the effect of athlete when it is lying on that. So after this, they subtracted these reaction forces, and by applying simple mechanics that which we have already done earlier, uniform accelerated motion equations. By doing that, they get to know the mass and volume and all parameters. So why it was better? It was better because it has more accuracy as compared to early method, because here forces are involved, and for forces they are using force plates that are very accurate and very sensitive. So the results here were more accurate to earlier methods. And even you can also pinpoint the for example आपने आर्म का निकालना है reaction force. So what is the idea? So first of all, they will keep this athlete lying on this board. So they will take the reaction force. In the second instant, he will raise his arm. So जैसे he will raise his arm, there will be some change in the reaction force. So to get idea about to get body segment parameter of arm, basically, so then they do the subtraction and they will get for that arm. So in this way, for each body segment, we can measure its parameters by using reaction forces. So that's why we call it as reaction change method. And what is the USP of this method? It is more accurate as compared to earlier methods like immersion. Okay. Now coming to the next method, which is known as quick release method. So this is another method for measuring body segment parameters. And what involves this technique is for determination of segment moments of inertia, is based on the Newton law of rotation. So this method measures basically moment of inertia. So for this you have to remember, you have to recall that law. So first of all, simple, for the linear motion we have Newton's second law, F equal to ma. Okay. So in the angular motion I have told you that will be in the angular motion F is tau. Okay. We call it a torque. Right. In angular motion, force becomes torque. So torque, according to Newton law of second motion or Newton law of second rotation, torque is equal to I into alpha. So I is your moment of inertia and alpha is your angular acceleration. So it is same as second law, F equal to ma, but in angular motion we have torque equal to moment of inertia into alpha. So why a moment of inertia is here? Because I have told you that when we talk of angular motion, we talk of moment of inertia, because in angular motion the mass is concentrated at different points. So I is equal to mr square, m into r square. So I think you recall that. So this is your assignment. You just, before studying this, you just recall your angular motion laws, then you will understand this more better way. So after this class, this is your assignment, just to study angular motion again and then go into this. You will definitely understand. So here I'll tell you key points. So it is based on the Newton law of rotation, and this equation is being used. Torque equal to I into alpha, means moment of inertia into angular acceleration. So the torque acting on a body is proportional to its angular acceleration. So this is the idea. more the torque, more the acceleration. Okay, so how they measure the body segment? Focus on the third point. For example, say the arm, they have to measure moment of inertia of arm. So it can be made to move at a known acceleration by a torque, which is also known. So what this line means, will make the movement by applying a known amount of force, so that that arm rotates. We already know the force which we have applied. We already know the forces means torque. We already know the torque which we have applied. We already know the acceleration. So when we know the two things, we can calculate inertia, mass, moment of inertia. So that will give you idea of mass of that particular body segment. So this is the idea. So I again repeat, in this method, what we do, we basically, by applying a known force, in angular motion we call it a torque. By applying a known torque, we make body segment to rotate, and we also know the acceleration already, because we know the all experimental conditions are controlled. We know the acceleration, we know the torque. So what we have to calculate now? The inertia. So when they release his or her arm in the control situation, we can calculate moment of inertia, and that will give us idea about mass of that body segment which we want to rotate. So in the next slide you will get to see the apparatus, how it is done, so it will be more clear by that figure. So just focus on that figure, how we do this. Just focus on that. Let the slide change on your screens. Yeah. So here you can see the apparatus. This is the apparatus for your reaction force, reaction method, basically based on angular Newton law of rotation. So in this example we are measuring mass or moment of inertia for this arm. So इसमें what we do, we tie this arm with a rubber band type of thing or some elastic rope. See, you can see here this his hand has been tied by this elastic rope. Now we know everything about this elastic, that how much resistance it is giving to this particular hand. So we know the torque which is being applied. So we know the torque, we know that, we also know that with control situation, with calculation, that how much acceleration will be produced. So two things we already know. So how this will be done, just after making it stand still with this, now he is applying full force to be straight, because this elastic rope is applying resistance to this motion. So what we do, we just cut this rope from right hand side, and as we cut, this arm will move with the full acceleration. Okay, so that will give us the acceleration, torque we know, and then by applying that law we can find moment of inertia for this arm. So this is the way we do it by reaction. And what is the advantage? It is a bit more accurate as compared to immersion method, and where direct moment of inertias are required, we use this method instead of your that reaction force method. Quick release method is used. So difference क्या है इसमें, we are focusing on angular motion, but in the reaction forces we are dealing with the reaction forces. So this is the key difference between the two. So I hope it is clear now. See, this method will also let you know direct measurement of body moment of inertia of your body segments. Now coming to the last method, that is computational method for measuring body segment parameters. Now this method, let it come in on your screen. Yeah, so this is the computational methods. So this method utilizes mathematics, basically geometry part. You must have 12th or in 10th, what is the volume of your cone, what is the volume of your elliptical bases. So that formulas are being utilized to calculate body segment parameters. But one thing I tell you right now, that this method is not accurate, because it is based on assumptions. What assumptions? For example, they have assumed, for example, if they want to measure the body segment trunk, they are focusing trunk, so they assume that the trunk of a body is of right circular cone. So they try to match body segments with fixed shapes. जैसे in this case they have matched your trunk part with right circular cone, upper body part. And similarly, the volume of the lower body part they have assumed as elliptical basis volume. So they are assuming a fixed, they are relating fixed object shapes with your body segments. To some extent, it worked, but when you talk of practicality, it is not a practical approach because you cannot compare your body segments with this fixed volumes or fixed shapes. So somehow scientists tried to evaluate. They did like this. They got the idea of upper body with applying the formula of cone. Then they got volume of lower body. So in this way, they try to relate these volumes with fixed shapes, and they tried to calculate body segments, but they were not so accurate, and the idea is also not practical enough. So this was just for your knowledge ki how they did this. So this is also a way to calculate body segment parameter. It was also an a real method. Right now they don't use it. You don't use it. The reason being it is not specific, it is not accurate, and simply practically you cannot relate body segments with fixed shapes or volumes. So that's why it has been discarded now. But it is in your syllabus, so you should know that ki how earlier these things were done. So this is the computational method of measuring body segment parameters. Now coming to the latest thing which is being utilized right now, and that is known as using radiation, and the technique is known as dual energy X-ray absorptiometry, and it is also known as DEXA or DXA, dual energy X-ray absorptiometry or absorption. So using X-rays, you can pinpoint different body segments, and then by subtraction is again here. What we subtract here is absorption of X-rays between by using two X-rays. So this method is very convenient. Just athlete has to lie on the bed of that machine, and then they impart two X-ray beams on the segment of interest, means whose measurement you want to do, for example arm or trunk, any body segment. And these two X-rays have different energy levels, matlab they are not of same energy. दोनों X-rays have different energies. Now these X-rays get attenuated मतलब उनका absorption हो जाता है body segment से, and bones are also there, body segments also there, so they attenuate these X-rays. So how they get to know this method will give you density directly. So again keep that formula in mind, that density equal to mass over volume. So you when you get to know the density exactly, you can calculate volume also, you can calculate mass also. Okay, so in this way this formula is generalized, it is applied in all methods. So in this method we directly get the densities of different body segments. So difference in the total absorption between the two can be used by suitable weighing to subtract out the absorption by bone, leaving just the absorption by body segment, which is related to density. So this method is the latest one, and also in addition to this MRI and other 3D approaches are also being formed right now, but this is the one which is at present used widely for getting exact values for individual elite players for doing musculoskeletal modeling. So DEXA is the one which has great accuracy, very convenient to use, and give good results. And if you talk of X-ray exposure, it is not that much key you should worry. It is very minimal. So in the next slide you will see the apparatus, how it is done. It is just a system from GE, photograph of that. An athlete is lying on it, and like this you see this is a DEXA system. So this is also used for medical purposes also, because biomechanics is also involved in the medicine side also, in that orthopedic or department. So this is a system, just you have to lay down, and that apparatus will impart two X-rays, and with the help of software and the computer you get to know what is the density of that particular body segment. And this is very accurate thing and very instant, it won't take much of time. So athletes are also ready to do that because there is no time wasted. Once we get the parameters, then we put that values in the molecular modeling software, and we can do simulations, we can improvise technique. So this is the way we can do it. So this was the last method, and now coming to the summary of all these methods of this all literature, this whole lecture summary in the one slide, so that you can recall what we have learned today. So, in short, body segment parameters are very crucial for biomechanical research purpose. And main tool which is used is musculoskeletal modeling. This is the first point. Secondly, what are the key aims for all this? So it is universal for each biomechanical experiment that you want to improve performance, and secondly you want to prevent injury. So these are the main aims to do all this practice. So these practices help in creation of new workouts, new exercises, new instrument. Also sometimes they also design some instrument which will help you to improve your technique by doing research on biomechanics of a particular elite athlete, so that can ultimately he or she can improve his or her technique. And still research is going on to improvise these methods more, so that they become more accurate, more instant, and more user friendly, so that this approach of musculoskeletal modeling becomes more advanced and more easy to do. Okay, so this is all about body segment measurements. These are the methods, and by using these methods you can do the research by using musculoskeletal modeling. So this is it, and if you have any question, please share your experience below in the comments. And one assignment for all of you, that you search on the net how these segments have improved in your game, respective game. You will get examples of swimming, because Narinder is from swimming part, and rest four you are from, I think, running. So try to find out and we'll discuss in WhatsApp group. Okay, so thank you ma'am for being here, and thank you very much. So please share your experience today, and do let me know if you have any query. Okay, so this was all about body segment parameters in biomechanics. Dinesh, it was good and new. Yeah, thank you Dinesh. So this was all about research which is being happening right now. These are the tools they use, and these are mainly done for elite athletes, so that they can improvise in their performance. So now I am signing off. Thank you very much for everybody. Okay, thank you.